All right, so any track day weekend, there's a lot involved with packing everything up, making sure it's all charged up and ready. And so that's what we're going to talk about right now. I am up near Road Atlanta. I'm actually staying at Chateau Elan, which is really cool, but I'm just in the Hampton Inn that's right here, so it wasn't very expensive, and I could use points. But it's right next to the racetrack, and I'll be ready in the morning. So that's critical point one is if you can get close to the racetrack, um, that makes the morning really easy, especially because you got to be there pretty early and you got to get some stuff ready and you got to get your car loaded up. So that's what we're going to talk about. So I try to minimize the number of containers I bring. So I've got this large Pelican case, which is great because it's actually big enough to fit my helmet and my Hybrid S, essentially my Hans device. And then I've got my clothes in here. I've got separate bags for separate things. This one doesn't have anything in it, so I'm using this guy to put my dirty clothes when I get them. And then I've got just clothes in here at this point. But there were some other bags I've already taken out, one of which is another big cinch bag. I love these cinch bags because I can separate different content into different cinch bags. So this one is my GoPro cinch bag. So right here you see all my accessories. I've got all my suction cups, which I have painstakingly found for sale and purchased because these GoPro branded ones are actually pretty good and most of the aftermarket ones are absolutely terrible. So I got a bunch of them because I have a bunch of GoPros. So these are all my little cages for the these are for the sessions, the Session or the Session 5. I love the Session 5. I think it's the ideal GoPro because it's really small form factor. They don't make it anymore, but it is 4K capable. It has image stabilization, and now they're really cheap. The only downside is they don't have replaceable batteries, so you have to charge them. So, charging them. Two parts to that. One, I have these power packs. And these are all fully charged. You can see there, full charge. This guy, yeah. So I make sure these guys are all charged up, ready to go, because this is my portable power station on the go. But right now when I'm at the track, this is my power station. So I've got my my 8-way or 6-way splitter here. I've got all my USB-C cables in use so that I can charge each individual GoPro. This guy's fully charged, my 7, which is awesome. And I've got all the rest of the guys on charge. So these will be ready for me in the morning. But during the day, the battery will die. And so I just keep my cables with me. I plug them into these guys. Careful with these. You got to make sure you're using the high voltage ones. Otherwise, it'll take forever. So plug it into the 2.1 amp positions. Some of these don't have any differentiation, and they're supposed to be smart, so they kind of take care of it for you. I think this one's supposed to be smart as well. But this one actually has a designation. So, if you're running something continuously and you just want to keep up, maybe you put it in the 1, but I'd try to do the 2.1 amp. Anyway, so that's how I do that. Now, this fun little guy right here is my storage solution for my memory cards. It's designed where it can fit in each slot a micro SD and a standard SD. Most of what I have here are micro SDs and their respective readers, because all the GoPros take micro SD. Don't cheap out on these cards, especially if you want to do 4K. You need something that has good speeds, or you're going to be disappointed. So I like these SanDisk Ultras, 64 gig. It's a class 10 card. These are pretty solid. The 64s aren't too expensive. The 128s are even reasonable. And they come larger than that, although I think you start paying a lot of money when you get over 128. That'll change quickly. Memory is one of those things that grows quickly with time. So you'll start to see those come down in price, and people will be like, oh man, that's so funny. Nowadays, terabytes are everywhere. But we're not there yet. Um, Again, I've got my cage here for the 7 or 5 cages for the heroes and all this. I will say I've been looking at these. I accidentally brought one of these with me and didn't mean to. Where did I put it? I've got a. Oh no, I put it over here. So this is the other part of it. I've got my camera bag. So this has, more of the fancy stuff. I've got my DSLR down here. I've got an audio recorder, which is really neat. This Zoom H5 is not terribly expensive, but it does a great job of recording anything, really. If you want some good quality audio, that's the way to do it. And so I've got other miscellaneous things. I've got this DJI Osmo Pocket with me as well, and this thing really impresses me. It's great stability. You plug it into your phone, and it becomes like one with your phone, and you can use your phone screen to adjust all the settings. But it also works by itself, which is really good because it unplugs easily. So if you do decide to pick one of those up, I recommend they sell a bracket. This guy. I'm sure tons of companies make them. I don't know if one's better than the other. But your phone mounts in here, and it braces that Osmo to your phone, which is really helpful. It gives you a little cold shoe mount up here if you wanted some kind of accessory, and allows you to mount it on a tripod, which is really, really cool. Command strips. These are the best things you can have with you. Whether you want to stick a GoPro to something temporarily or whatever else, these are great. So you put a couple of those on there and put them underneath one of those GoPro standard mounts, like these guys. I mean, you can use this one-time 3M thing, but if you put those two on there and you stick this even to like a go-kart or something, it'll hold really well. And then these command strips, you can just pull the tab and it removes without any residue. So if you're sticking to something that you don't own, which is so common for me, cars, go-karts, stuff like that, this is great. So I love having these on board. I've got this real cheap, newer, if I'm pronouncing that right, video light. So that's pretty cool if you wanted to do any kind of video stuff or whatever. It's also really cool for doing any kind of light painting at night, which sometimes I get the opportunity to do that. That's really fun. So I've got that on me. This little Manfrotto tripod is great. So it's got your standard style, 1/4-20 thread up top, and so you can put an adapter on there. Thankfully there's a GoPro one. That's not it. Right there. So this little GoPro piece adapts a tripod mount to the GoPro accessories. So you just thread that guy on there, and boom, you've got a solution to set a GoPro somewhere that's going to be stable, or that audio device actually has that too. So that's what I typically use it for, is for the audio, so this nice dead cat, as they call it, doesn't get all nasty from like sitting on the ground. So this is a really nice thing to have. Folds down really small, but it's solid. It's good quality stuff. I've got some other just random GoPro arms and charger for my camera and stuff like that. The other nice thing about this big pack is I've got this sleeve back here I can put my laptop in, and then on the side here, I've got it on this side, I've got my power adapter for it. So I've got my laptop ready to go, so I can start to dump stuff. On the top here, I've got compartments where I can put, I can put the hard drive. So this is a, believe it or not, check this thing out. I mean, it weighs nothing. Tiny little thing. It's like a keychain, but it's a terabyte solid state hard drive. I mean, like I said, memory's getting really cheap these days. So that's a really neat solution. Carry all kinds of stuff with me that way, data-wise. And it's really resilient. So, the solid state stuff, you don't have to worry about putting in a hot environment with a lot of vibrations. it's a really good solution there. It's probably more gear tech geeking than you expected from this video or you even wanted. So sorry about that, but yeah, tomorrow is going to be really cool. Tomorrow is a track day at the um, women's only track day called Accelerating Change here at Road Atlanta, and I'll be volunteering my time as an instructor. Not driving or anything like that. I've actually loaned out my car to a friend, but I will be out there just trying to share my love of the sport and teach a little bit, and maybe I'll come up with some cool content, video some of that. I always like having video to go back to coach myself on being a better instructor. Or maybe I can pull some good things. Maybe if I look back through the footage, I can pick up on little nuances that could help me more effectively coach, or are things that I forget that people don't not know, and I can pull those up and talk about them in classroom sessions and things like that. So that's part of the reason I've got my video gear. Of course, I always enjoy creating content, just really bad at editing and posting it, and that's why I've got these low budget daily vlog going on. So anyways, thanks for putting up with that, and we'll be back to car content tomorrow. Thanks.